Welcome to the Sportz Phenz Show. The show where, just like you, we can't get enough sports.
The 47-year wait is over! And the Nuggets win it! Wilson throwing, it's up for grabs, it is caught for the touchdown! And the Denver Broncos have taken Super Bowl 50. And the Avalanche are 2022 Stanley Cup champions! And a shot into the back of the net for Diego Rubio!
Now here's your hosts, Arthur Knight and Larry Perkins.
Yeah. What's good in the hood? Welcome to the Sportz Phenz Show. We are coming to you live from 4300 West Alameda at Sohi Cafe. I am Arthur Knight, and with me, as always, is Mr. LP Larry Perkins.
Hello.
What's going down, my dude? Wait, let me make sure I get a shout out to Vinny. Vinny cooks up some barbecue up over here, man. Come on by Sohi Cafe, 4300 West Alameda. Get you, I think he's got some wings. He said he's got some briskets, some burn-ins, some mac and cheese. I know I saw that mac and cheese go into the smokers. So come on by, grab yourself a plate.
And links too, man.
And some links. Yeah, I mean, he's got pretty much everything a barbecue spot has for the most part. So come on down. Make sure you follow him on IG, Sohi Cafe, 4300 West Alameda. All right. So you wanted to start off with talking about your Fakers.
No, it's not the Fakers, my friend.
Well, right now they're the Fakers. They're not the Lakers.
No, they the Lakers. you faking because you don't realize what's going on. But yeah,
no, I definitely know Finney Smith. I know who that is.
You don't know Shake Milton?
Shake Milton is okay. He's all right. He's not tipping the scales for me, and neither is Finney Smith. But I'm gonna let you talk about it. So.
Well, yeah, I just found out, this morning, off the presser, that D'Angelo Russell basically going back to where
your favorite guy, your favorite point guard in the entire world.
Yeah, but he's going back to his place where he got traded to in the first place. To New Jersey Nets with Max Lewis, promising.
The New Jersey Nets. What?
The Brooklyn Nets. Sorry.
What are you talking about, man? Just kidding. Anyway,
they always gonna be the New Jersey.
Brooklyn. I don't know. BK kind of embraced them, man. I think that team is a Brooklyn team now. I'm pretty sure that's a Brooklyn team. They have embraced. I mean, I've been to the arena to watch the Nuggets play. Yeah. They've pretty much. That's a Brooklyn team. They are no longer New Jersey. But anyways, I digress.
Well, just thinking about the trade, in a nutshell, it's just a domino. I feel it's just a domino piece, getting ready to fold because it's going to be other trades. Now I know it's going to be other trades, and far as Finney Smith, great piece for the Dallas Mavericks. They hated to give him up when they got Kyrie. Mm-hmm. So to get him for 3 second-round picks, a promising Max Lewis and, my boy, I kind of like indifferent about it, you know what I'm saying? But I know this for sure. Vando, I don't think he's going to be back. I think they're probably going to get rid of him because Finney is a 3-and-D player. You know what I'm saying? He's a shooter. And that's the role that we wanted Vando, to fill. Mm-hmm. But he's been hurt all the time, so I think
he can't shoot the three. What are you talking about? Vanderbilt? He can't shoot the three? He's not a 3-and-D guy. He's a D and rebound guy.
Right, but he was our best defensive player. You know what I'm saying?
He's good at defense.
Yeah, but
because he's got long arms. He's a wide presence. He's got a lot of length.
Yeah. So
I mean, the Nuggets drafted him, so I remember him playing here. But the man can't shoot the ball to save his life.
Been trying, but yeah,
he doesn't. He has no offensive game whatsoever.
Yeah,
his offensive game is completely dependent upon somebody else. Yes. But anyway,
yeah, but it's just one of many trades I think the Lakers gonna try to pull off. I mean, you still got the whole De'Aaron Fox. I don't think that's realistic, but hey, people can hope. You know, more realistic for me is the Zach LaVine, but I really don't want that contract for those amount of years.
Well, I mean, who's going to run point now? Who's running point for your?
Now Austin, you know.
Isn't he a shooting guard though, or a small forward?
He is a combo. He handles the rock. But yeah, that's why I'm saying it's going to be another trade or two in the works, because we need a actual, you know, point guard, a traditional point guard, not no, you know, hybrid, you know. So,
would they trade for CP3?
No.
Why not?
I don't know. He too hurt. He get hurt too much for me. You know what I'm saying? Actually, if we have aspirations for the playoffs, he get hurt right around the playoff time. Am I right? You heard of playoff performers? Well, he's like a playoff non-performer. So when it counts. So,
well, it looks like the Lakers jumped ahead of Denver.
What, by half a point, half a game?
Denver's in 7th. Lakers are in
6.
No, they're in the 5th. They're in the 5th spot right now. Both are 6-4 in their last 10 games.
Yeah.
But that whole mix-up of all the way down to Phoenix, Phoenix to Dallas.
From 3 to what? Well,
nah, from 4 down.
It's separated by how many games?
Like a 1 game at most.
Wow. That's the West. The Wild Wild West, man. So to get a little bit off a topic, how was your Christmas, man?
My Christmas was good, and back on topic. So how does this benefit the Lakers with this trade?
Well, like I said, they get a 3-and-D play. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, Finney-Smith is 10 points, almost 5 rebounds, and almost 2 assists.
Yeah, and Milton is 8 points. You know, it's not about the points. It's about the defense on the perimeter.
Yeah, but you got to score points to win, though, sir.
But they're
so
not.
It is about the points.
Not for them. Not for them. It's maybe AD, maybe LeBron, maybe Connect, maybe Reeves, whatsoever.
Yeah, that's only gotten y'all so far. I don't see. I like the Finney-Smith addition to your team, but it doesn't tilt. It doesn't tilt the scales. How did you know? In all honesty, you guys were winning with Russell. You were actually winning.
Up and down.
Yeah, this isn't gonna make it go up. This trade is not gonna make it go up.
No.
I mean, Shake Milton is okay, but both of these guys are aging.
Well, he's just 28.
Finney-Smith is 31.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't see.
This is not a blockbuster though. You know,
Lakers are getting older,
right,
as opposed to younger.
Yeah, like I said, it's just one domino. You know, I was just surprised. It wasn't
but one domino when it tips can cause a whole bunch of.
Well, this is a positive tip. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, I was
Explain to me how. That's what I'm trying to. You said 3-and-D, but I'm like, you have several 3-and-D guys on your roster already.
As
you just named one.
Vando's hurt. All right, who else?
Hold on, let me bring up this roster.
There's no other 3-and-D players on that roster.
Well, let me see. I'm pretty sure Austin is supposed to be that guy. No,
they have to take
Christian Wood. No.
No.
Hachimura.
No, definitely not.
What are you talking about, dude? That is a 3-and-D guy.
He is not a 3-and-D.
What is he then? He's not a wing player?
He's a 4, bro.
Oh my God.
He's a 4.
I don't think you understand the concept of what 3-and-D means.
Yeah, could shoot the 3 ball and play defense.
Okay, Gabe Vincent.
He's
3-and-D guy.
Most 3-and-Ds usually are wings.
That
are small forwards. I never seen a point guard that's a 3-and-D. But I understand the concept of 3-and-D. I'm sorry, but no, Gabe Vincent. Have you seen his 3-point percentage? Actually, yeah. I mean, their percentage. Lakers is 27th in the league for his 3-point makes.
And how was adding Finney-Smith? He's a 43.5% three-point shooter this year. 35.9 career. How does that add more three-point? What's Russell's? Let's check Russell. Let's see his percentage.
Yeah, but like I was telling you, I mean, this is not. I mean, I didn't wake up this morning and was jumping
Hey, I
for
guess
joy.
that is an upgrade. I guess that is an upgrade because his D'Angelo Russell's supposed to be a three-point expert, and he's 33.3 this year, 36.8 overall, like for his. So I'll give you that. I guess it is a upgrade, 10 percentage point upgrade in three-point percentage. Okay, I'll give you that.
I mean, it's just a wait and see aspect, that's how we were with Gabe Vincent and all these other players that have high, 3-point percentage, and it just drops soon as they come to the Lakers, So we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how that'll work. But basically, we got a little under the salary cap. You know what I'm saying? We didn't give up nothing. I mean, I wouldn't have gave up a
So
first
Shake
one.
Milton was just basically there because he
Just shaking around. Yeah.
well, I mean, you got to match salaries and all of that stuff in the NBA. So
Right,
he
that's
was
why-
probably just added to the.
Right. And also Max Lewis. Actually, I'm kind of like disappointed that the Lakers gave up early on this young man. He's nice,
38.9% in the field goal percentage, but he's pretty efficient in the paint.
He just needed
Inside
time.
the 3-point line, he's efficient AF. I'll give him that. I just don't see how. I mean, we know Shake Milton was just added just to make
Right.
sure that the contracts matched, but I do not see how Finney Smith. Now I'll give the Lakers this. This is what I will give the Lakers on this trade. They did the trade well before the trade deadline. There is plenty of time for Finney Smith to figure it out and get gelled with the team, as opposed to waiting until February, trading for him, and then he has to learn how to play the Laker way within, 2 months at that point?
Right.
That's a pretty hard ask for anybody.
Yeah.
So
I give it a C.
I give it a C minus.
It moves it just a tad bit, the needle.
Well, I mean, you're a Laker fan, but I don't see from the outside looking in, I don't see it moving the needle whatsoever. They still need a point guard regardless. Austin Reeves is not him. He is him. He's a good brand. I like Reeves. I would take him on the Nuggets all day because he does actually play D and he plays spirited basketball, which I love.
He plays spirited basketball. He's not a lockdown.
He's not overly skilled. Like he just plays really, really well,
Hard,
and
yeah.
he plays hard. And he has enough skill. Let's just put it that way.
He's not a great defensive player.
He plays D though. He plays.
Like you said, he just plays with a lot of energy.
Yeah, he plays
like
defense.
Russell Westbrook.
But I don't see this moving the needle at all unless you guys get a point guard that can gel it all up.
Yeah.
And I don't know where you're going to pull a point guard from, because you're going to have to give, even if you did want Zach LaVine, which it sounds like you don't. But even if you did want him, you're going to have to give up the farm to get him.
Right,
That could
for that
include
contract.
That could include Mr. Little Bronny James. You may have to. I'm dead serious. In order to get that type of player, the Bulls are not going to want to. They're not going to want a bunch of bench players unless they're tanking and trying to do a complete rebuild, which
That's what
they
they're
could be
doing.
doing.
That's what
they
they're
could
doing.
be doing that.
They're basically, once they got rid of DeRozan last year,
Mm-hmm.
they put the league on notice that they finna have a fire sale.
Well, I mean, it
'Cause
does look that way.
Because they put Vooch, they put him on the market, the trade market. Vooch.
But they've invested in Zach LaVine, man. They're not just going to let him walk. He's a better player than the player they did trade to Sacramento, and look what they got for him.
They got rid of Caruso.
Yep.
They tried to get rid of Lonzo Ball, but nobody wanted to take him.
Well, yeah, because he hasn't played basketball in
Like
like 50 years, dude.
He's at 50.
Well, I'm just saying, this dude hasn't played a meaningful game of NBA basketball in a long ass time, and you know, come on, man.
Right.
If anything, they should be able to opt out of his contract in some way, somehow.
Yeah.
You know, cut their losses and be able to just, you know, hey, we've already paid up to
Right.
what we're willing to pay.
Unfortunately,
We can't pay anymore if you're not going to play basketball. So
unfortunately, they'll have to go through that Zion experience. They have to eat it. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, speaking of eating it, it sounds like Sacramento,
what is bitten off more than they can chew?
something like that.
Yeah, it's kind of disappointing at the Kings. I'm not a Kings fan, so it don't really.
Well, I'm not a Kings fan either. My cousin is though.
it's
He
just-
watches this show. He's a diehard Kings fan. He's been a Kings fan since we were kids.
Wow.
And he grew up in San Jose. So, but either way, I was gonna reach out to him today before the show to see how he felt about the Mike Brown firing. But this was your what were you thinking? So go ahead with it.
No, I just thought it was a knucklehead move by the Sacramento Kings. You know, once the many knucklehead plays and moves they made over their tenure. But yeah, last couple of years, Mike Brown been great, leaving the bench behind Steve Kerr in Golden State. He's a phenomenal. I mean, he's a great, you know, defensive coach. I remember when he first coached the Lakers with Kobe, you know what I'm saying, back in like 2012 when they had Powell. But he's a great coach. But under the tutelage of Steve Kerr in Sacramento, he became a good offensive coach too. You know, so now he's like well-rounded. And a couple of years ago when he went to Sacramento, gave them, I think, what they had the best record in almost in franchise history. And, you know, I would have just stuck with him a little longer, about another year or two, see how it goes. I mean, I know they're not doing good now, but, you know, nobody's doing good this quarter of a season, you know. So I think they gave up on him too early, you know, and it's going to bite them in the butt. You know, kind of like how Mike Malone said.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Coach Mike Malone had some unsavory comments about the Sacramento Kings organization, stating that they have no class and no balls, and that's a direct quote. He also said that, you know, he knows. What was the quote? I was trying to find it. The whole reason why we were even talking about this.
Because of Mike
But he
Brown.
said, you know, basically he knows what Mike Brown is going through, and he knows why Mike Brown was fired, because the same person fired him when he was the Sacramento Kings
That was a shot.
coach. But hey, good news for Mike Brown. Guess what Michael Malone did right after he got fired from that franchise?
I know.
He went to another team called the Denver Nuggets and won a championship. So
You should
that could be in the stars for Mike Brown. We'll have to see where he lands. I agree with you that basically Mike Brown wasn't really given a shot. I mean, they did make a couple of trades. I thought they were going to be really, really good. I think all three of us had them pretty high on our list. I mean, within the top, like going to the playoffs, they may not be like number one. We didn't all think they were going to be number one or number two, number three or something like that. And I have to look.
Dangerous.
But we did think that they were going to be at least of a playoff pedigree, and they haven't played up to that billing in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But I don't think that it constituted firing your coach
Not
mid-season.
this early. Not this time. I mean, I had them up there with OKC. I mean, whatchamacallit also disappointed me. Memphis. You know, I thought they was going to do a show a little better. But, I mean, Ja Morant being in and out of the lineup due to several different injuries don't help. But, yeah, I thought Sacramento going to be up there with, you know, with the likes of the Thunder, the Minnesota Timberwolves, you know, Pelicans, but they struggling too. So, you know, these up-and-coming young teams. So I still don't understand why they would just give up that early on their coach. I mean, they were offensive. They were juggernauts last year. I don't know what happened. But, yeah, I guess that's the way, I guess the cookie crumble, they say in the NBA. But I think it was much more behind that firing than led on to believe, you know. And I think we was talking about that.
Like what?
Like, you know, a certain player that got traded from Chicago that kind of didn't really like the offense, you know. And, you know, I don't like pointing fingers personally, but, you know, it's just very unfortunate, you know. So.
Very unfortunate that he got fired.
Of course. Of course.
Well, it's very unfortunate when anybody gets fired, man.
Well, we ain't talking about anybody. We talking about
Mike
Brown
Brown
right now. Okay.
Well, I mean, it's unfortunate. It is unfortunate. He'll probably get another chance. I mean, this isn't his first
oh no,
head coaching gig.
He got fired like 4 times.
Yeah.
But, you know,
I mean, that might say something about Mike Brown. I mean, I guess, you know, Michael Malone, they came from the same coaching tree. He's worked with him before.
That's what I was saying.
I've heard that Mike Brown is a great head coach, but why does he keep getting fired then? Why can't he get teams into?
He's a great defensive coach.
Well, yeah.
He's a great defensive.
And a lot of coaches are like that, to where they're better coordinators than they are head coaches. I think that's one thing that Michael Malone has done good at, and in some ways bad at, when it comes to his coaching staff. To me, as I've been watching this team since he took over, he has allowed his coaches to coach. You can hear it, or especially last night when they were playing against Detroit. You could kind of hear it. The defensive coach was yelling at the players. The Denver Nuggets defensive specialist was yelling at the players from the sideline to get them to get into the right defensive sets. I mean, but you also see Michael Malone out there telling them, you know, set your feet, do this, do that, do this. But he does allow his coaches to actually coach the players. And you know, when you're a head coach, you're really coaching the coaches. You're organizing everything. You're writing the plan, and then allowing your coaches to execute said plan.
Right.
And that's in any sport. I don't care what sport it is. Even baseball, who don't have a head coach, they have what they call managers.
Right.
But they have assistant coaches and stuff like that, you know, the base coaches, et cetera, that actually coach out on the field. The managers do exactly that. They manage the game. And head coaches, good head coaches, typically, I think that's why the coach in Kansas City had such a hard time. Now he's allowed his offensive coordinators, now that he's in Kansas City, to he still is basically the play caller, but he still allows his OCs to call plays as well. Like they have a fingerprint on the game, and I think that's been the key to his success in Kansas City. Is he stopped being the OC and the head coach, and he just became the head coach.
Yeah, that's too tiring.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
And I think Sean Payton's going to run out of juice here soon too. He's got to, you know, get out of his own way and allow he needs an OC. Whether he draws up the plan and allows his OC to call it, he needs to be able to do that. There's too much going on.
Yep.
And you know, to make these calls should be not just made by one person, but definitely made by a committee, so that the right play gets called, that the right thing gets done, not just the egotistical thing that gets done. And I like Sean Payton. Don't get me wrong. I like Sean Payton. Excuse me. I like the cut of his jib. I really do. I like the way, you know, his approach to a lot of things, but his arrogance is just a little too much for, you've got to humble yourself at least a little bit.
But wasn't he calling the shots? I mean, wasn't he doing that in New Orleans?
He was, and look what happened in New Orleans, though. They won one championship.
But I know, but he was.
Or did they win two? They might have won two. Yeah.
They won one.
They won one, and then they had the best offense in the league, and they were running and gunning. They were having all kinds, but they couldn't win in the playoffs after they won their one Super Bowl, where they had all kinds of asterisks on it when it came to Bounty Gate and you know, all of those things. And wasn't he the infamous kick the onside? And that's why you have to now announce that you're kicking an onside, right? So it's not like he was setting the world on fire in New Orleans. Like, yeah, they were offensively, they put up a lot of numbers, but they won one championship. And I'll take one. Like if that's all he wins going forward, I'll take my one. Yep, I'll take my one and run, because that would give us one more than the Raiders.
Look at you, man. You just petty as hell.
I am. My cousin that's a Sacramento Kings fan. He's also a Raiders fan. And him along with a lot of Raider fans would always be like, hey, we got more championships than you. Well, now we're tied. They can't use that anymore.
No.
Anyway, I'm not going down that rabbit hole. But
I already told you, man. Like I said, I mean, I really don't have ground to stand on, because I'm serious. Like when you have a bad team, you know what I'm saying? You're going to love your team, but it's like you can't escape.
You can't defend your team.
You can't defend them.
Right.
Because they're not defending themselves.
Yeah.
They're not doing. And the thing is, they hopefully, you know, they'll get their stuff together. You know, I pray they do. You know, it's going to start with this upcoming draft coming, you know, well, next year. But
well, I mean, if they keep winning, they just won today, didn't they?
Exactly. They won last week too.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing. They should have won to start winning early in the season, but yeah.
Yeah, but they suck, so they couldn't. So,
Okay.
And they actually the Raiders were winning in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, what their first couple of games, and then after
that, and then they fell off.
They fell off. I mean,
they fell off, and then the Broncos were sucking it up,
and
then they caught fire. I mean, that's just sports, man. I mean, in all honesty, that is literally just sports. Sometimes you can catch fire early and fade out, or sometimes you can not have a spark at all and then, go up in flames or whatever. There's a lot of different things that can happen in sports and in football, especially because they only have a limited amount of games, unlike most other sports that have, double what they do. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like basketball has 82 games.
Right.
So does hockey. Baseball has a million games.
182.
Yeah, they play damn near year round in a boring ass sport, but I digress on that.
Tell us how you really feel, Willie.
It's boring, man. It's boring. It's a pastime. It is boring. And I only throw on baseball or golf when I want to take a nap. So, anyway, the Denver Broncos yesterday put on quite a show. Bo Nix put on quite a show. Came up against a little bit more of an experienced team. And, there's just a lot of things to break down in the game yesterday. Play calling is one of them. Vinny's been yelling since I got here. They should have went for two.
Yep.
I don't disagree with him. I don't know how many times I've said on this show, in sports, you never want to play not to lose. You always want to play to win. And if you lose, you lose. But you always want to play to win. You don't want to risk. I don't know what Sean Payton was thinking when they caught fire. They had missed a field goal. All the momentum was in the Broncos' direction. The stars were aligned. You had your opportunity, and you let it slip through your fingers. Now it happens. But
yeah, it happened too much with him.
It does happen a lot with him.
Because I remember we were talking about the KC game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Don't play to lose.
Don't leave it up to chance, when it comes to stuff like that. You got a full tilt, man. Especially when you should withdraw. In sports, you have to full tilt and just go forward and try to win. When I played, man, it was like I would rather lose in a fighting effort than win in a by default or by backing my way in or by luck or just by hap chance or and I know that a lot of sports nowadays is more analytical. It's more like, well, what percentage chance do we have to do this? And I get it. I dig it, actually. I'm a numbers guy too, so I dig it. Yeah. Analytics is good in sports because it does help. People have tendencies. Coaches have tendencies. Players have tendencies. All of these things play into sports.
Right, that's where analytics comes in.
Right, and if you can have somebody that can break down numbers and any player that can analyze those numbers, watch it on film, and then utilize it on the field, man, that's
they even have analytic coaches. So
everything in sports right now is based on analytics. Everything.
I know
every sport,
but they have an actual a title of a But so you think if if something happened, the Broncos don't make it in, is all the blame should be on the coaches?
You know what?
For this season,
I'm gonna tell you this: if the Broncos don't make it to the playoffs, it'll be exactly what I thought they weren't gonna do anyway. At the beginning of the season, I thought this team wasn't gonna win more than 5 games, or actually no, I did. I called them 12, but that was after.
That was that fandom kicking in.
That was that fandom after Bo Nix had like 2 great games. In the preseason, my fandom took over my rationale.
Yes, of course.
All fans do that. That's why we're fans.
Right.
I did call for them to win 12 games. Now it looks like they're going to win 11. So I was pretty close. But realistically, nobody had them winning more than 6 or 7 games this year. Realistically, with a rookie quarterback. Most had them right around that 5-win, 6-win mark. Most analysts and most gurus or whatever you want to call them, they had them around like 5 or 6 wins. They've already surpassed that by 3 games, 4 games. So to me, they're playing with house money right now. So Denver fans, Bronco fans, we should be encouraged. Yes, if we don't make it this year, and I get it, man, we've been on a 7-8 year, almost a 10-year drought that we haven't been to the playoffs. We haven't had meaningful football here. We haven't had any kind of playoff sniff or scenario to where if we just have to win 1 game and we're in. It's been a long time since that I've been excited about Denver Bronco football, to be honest with you. But here's the thing. Even if they don't make it, let's say they lose to Kansas City next week and they don't make it in. They're playing with house money. So honestly, if they don't go in, it was what was to be expected. If they do go in, they've exceeded expectations. And I'll tell you this, nobody wants to play the Broncos if they do make it. Like if they go and beat Kansas City, or not go, it's going to be here. But if Kansas City comes in here, and we all know Kansas City's already clinched. Their coach is notorious for resting his players, and that would be extra rest because they have a bye week too. And they've been pretty injury bitten. They're getting guys back now, but they've been injury bitten. So this 2 weeks off or 3 weeks off would actually be very beneficial to them health wise. I don't know if it would be good on momentum wise, but it would definitely be healthy for them to do that. So if they do rest their players and the Broncos win, I guarantee you most teams do not want to see the Broncos, because the Broncos have nothing to lose. They really have nothing to lose. They're playing with house money. Even if they, like I said, if they lose to Kansas City and their second string, still be encouraged, ladies and gentlemen, because they won 9 games this year. That's 2 more than last year, or 1 more than last year. They finally have a winning record. And I think that next year they're going to bolster this. The offensive line looks great now. It looks like they have the right recipe. The guys are in the right place.
Through the draft, right?
They did draft a couple.
They don't got money.
They did draft a couple. I mean, Bowles has been on the team for a long time, and they just extended him.
Right.
I wasn't happy about that at first, but it is what it is. You can't just bring in a rookie tackle and protect a rookie quarterback. That's just putting your young quarterback at risk. You need somebody who's been in the league for a long time, and there wasn't going to be anybody in the free agency market that the Broncos were going to be able to feasibly sign in the offseason to replace Bowles. So now, as a fan, I'm pissed that they re-signed Bowles. As a business mind, and I get it. Like it is what it is. He's the commodity that you have available. That's who you sign. That's the money you have. That's who you sign. Not to mention he hasn't played very he's played actually very good this year with the guys that are around him. It seems like the Broncos finally have a good center. Yeah. All they need is Vele to come along, and they need to figure out a way to re-sign Sutton without having to overpay him to come back. Because replacing Sutton after he's had such a connection with Bo Nix this year is going to be very, very hard. Yes, like I said, they have Vele, but they don't really have anybody behind that. They really don't, and it's noticeable. They did. Mims had a great game yesterday, and it seems like they're starting to incorporate him into the offense a lot. So I could see the Broncos going in and actually winning one game, kind of similar. And I'm not comparing Bo Nix to Tebow. Don't get me wrong, because it's not even comparable, but similar to that season when they went into the playoffs and nobody expected them to go into the playoffs. And they had to win the last game of the season to go into the playoffs. And then they beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. Nobody expected that to happen. And that's what happens when you have a hungry team. Now, this quarterback, Bo Nix, is way better. Right, He's a way better quarterback. So none of them really want to see the Broncos coming into this playoffs, because the Broncos have nothing to lose. And when they have nothing to lose, when you're a team that has nothing to lose, they play free. You're free to play. You're not going to play tight. You're not going to, make too many mistakes. I honestly think that's why the Broncos have had a lot of mistake-free football this year. Because this team knows they really have nothing to lose. Nobody expected them to be as good as they are. And they're way ahead on schedule. And bottom line is the next 7 years are going to be very fruitful for the Denver Broncos with this quarterback. As long as Peyton in the office, the GM Peyton, doesn't F it up. Because he's made some pretty bad decisions, but he also made the decision to go ahead and draft, Bo Nix, and he made a lot of good decisions. So bottom line is the Broncos are in good position no matter what, even if they don't make the playoffs this year, though I would like them to make the playoffs, because that kind of experience for a rookie quarterback is invaluable.
Well, if they go to the playoffs, the first team they're going to be up playing is Buffalo.
Yeah, well, is it Buffalo? I don't think it is. No, it is. It is. It is Buffalo.
It is Buffalo.
That's right.
And Buffalo is immaculate at home. So,
Yeah, but the Broncos have been pretty good on the road. Like they almost beat Cincinnati, but they've been very good on the road. They've been mediocre at home, but they've been good on the road.
If they do, like I said, if they do make it, they most likely going to get smacked.
Oh, we'll see.
By Josh Allen and the boys in Buffalo.
Well, that's what they said. That's what they said about
Steelers. I know.
Yeah, that year.
I know. And then you have
even the sun shines on the dog's ass some days, bro.
You have Mr. Praise the Lord come up in there and beat him.
Hey, yeah, it would definitely be Buffalo. It would definitely be Buffalo. They'd have to go into Buffalo. And Buffalo's going to be tough. Their defense is tough. Their offense is even better.
This is going to be I'm telling you, this is going to be a good playoff.
But Buffalo hasn't been immaculate this year. They do have 3 losses. They can be beat.
Just like KC.
The Broncos have the most sacks of any defense in the league. I think they now have 56 after last night. They had 51 going in. But I think they had like 5 sacks last night, or 4 sacks or something.
All the teams in the AFC that's going into the playoffs have like deficiency somewhat certain. It's like it's no team, not even KC. It's no team, or Baltimore, or Texans. It's no team in the AFC that you can say,
this team can't be beat.
They can't be beat.
Yeah, because all of them have been beat. Kansas City's almost there. They're almost there. Yes, they did lose one game.
Right.
But
look at they should have lost
the last 2 games that they've played. They've played better, especially offensively, my dude. Like, they have played better.
No,
it's a little scary.
They've been playing after they lost. After that loss that they took. Was it Buffalo they lost to?
Yeah, I can't remember who they lost to.
Actually, it was Buffalo they lost to. Ever since then, it's like, we better start playing. They start playing much better. You know.
Yeah, they've been playing pretty good.
But they looking for that three-peat though. You know what I'm saying? Never been done before.
Yeah, they at first I would argue that they didn't look hungry at the beginning of the season, even though they were winning.
Right.
They didn't look hungry.
It didn't look like it.
The last 3, maybe 4 weeks, they have looked very hungry, and the rest of the league better be put on notice. They better hope that Kansas City gets tired and rusted with their rest, because I do have a gut feeling that Kansas City is not going to start their starters on Sunday against the Broncos, because it's a meaningless game to them. And the Broncos are going to come out fired up, ready to win that game.
Though that's too long. Usually players get hurt behind stuff like that.
Yeah.
3 weeks they might play them like
We'll
a little
see.
bit. They have to.
This coach has notoriously, once he
has.
locks his position up in the playoffs, or if he gets his position locked up,
But yeah.
he doesn't start his starters.
But is he in a spot right now? Because they already had a bye, then he rest his starters, then they got the bye before the playoffs start. Yeah, I mean it's a lot of.
Like I said at the beginning of this conversation, he'll probably rest him because of the fact that they've had some lingering injuries. That could be the reason why they haven't been playing their best football in the beginning of the season, is they've had lingering injuries all season. And now they can have that time to.
Mark my words. If he if he don't play them, they probably won't even win the second round, because they're gonna be out on the bye in the first round. So 3 weeks off, no, that's too much. So if they don't
we'll
play,
see. It's a gamble.
Yeah,
It's a gamble, but he's done it. He's done it in 1 Super Bowls.
Yeah, but this is different though. We talking about 3 weeks. That's a long time.
He's done it in 1 Super Bowls, my dude.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying.
He has the not only the pedigree, he has the track history.
That being said,
of doing it.
That being said, I'm serious. If he don't play him against the Broncos, I don't know if they'll even get out the second round.
We'll see.
They're not gonna know how to act that much time off.
We'll see, because even if they lose that game against Denver, they still get
They still
get
keep
time off.
Right,
yeah,
they still keep their
I could
spot.
see them maybe like treating it as a preseason game. Like have Mahomes go out there and play the first quarter, maybe a couple of drives into the second quarter.
Got to.
And then just bench him for the rest of the game, win or lose.
Got to.
Because it's win or lose, they don't lose anything. Like there's no change whatsoever. But the Broncos, win or lose, it's meaningful to them. But Kansas City, they could have him play the first quarter, bench him for the rest of the game, and lose and have nothing happen.
I could see if they didn't have that in-season bye, but if they just had 2 weeks, I was like, go ahead, breast them, and then have another week, But when you have that in-season bye, that's just too long.
Well, I guess it remains to be seen, my guy, because that is the whole reason why that they give this rest, is because it's a reward.
Right. I know these guys go through a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's grueling.
That extra week for mental purposes and physical purposes it might be meaningful, or they could get rusty and lax, like you said, and then when they actually do go to play, whoever wins out of because if Denver beats Buffalo, if that were to happen, then they go to Kansas City, right? So Denver's got to run the gauntlet. Very similar, like I said, to the Tebow year where they beat Pittsburgh, who was actually hot at the time. They were playing really good football at the time to win their division. And then they got the Broncos move on to the next round to get smoked by the Patriots. So that could very well happen to the Broncos this year, except for the Broncos do have a better quarterback this time. But if the Broncos beat Buffalo, they go to Kansas City. If Buffalo wins, obviously they play the highest seed. So they would play, because Baltimore plays the Chargers if the playoffs were today.
Right.
Which that would be a good game, but Baltimore pretty much mollywopped them earlier.
Steelers will play the Texans.
They'll play the Texans in Houston.
Steelers, they can win that game.
They haven't been very good on the road, man. That's kind of why they have 6 losses. Most of their 10 wins came at home.
Right. I rode with Mike Tomlin, though.
Same. I do think Pittsburgh figures out a way to get out of the first round. Houston's still a young team, very inexperienced, including their coach. But Mike Tomlin is seasoned. He's a seasoned vet, well-seasoned vet. His team is seasoned. They only have a question mark at the quarterback position.
Yeah.
But he seems to be able to plug any quarterback in there and win and go to the playoffs and win. That is his pedigree. That is his track record. And I would say that he's going to get out of the first round. Going into the second round, though, having to play a Kansas City, Buffalo, or Baltimore.
I'm telling
you. Pittsburgh has a good chance if they have to face Baltimore. Because Baltimore just beat them for the first time
exactly. When those two
in
teams,
years.
When those two teams get together, man, oh, man, you talk about smash mouth. Man, it's a war.
It's a knock 'em down, drag 'em out fight.
When Baltimore play Pittsburgh, it's a war.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, it's not a regional, but a divisional rival. It's kind of like when the Broncos play the Raiders. Even when we played the Raiders this year and how bad the Raiders are, and that's not a dig, that's just fact. No matter how bad they are, those were still tough games.
Divisional games always. It don't matter the record.
Yeah.
It don't matter the record.
They were still tough games. Playing against the Chargers, tough game. Playing against Kansas City, tough game. I mean, the game that the Broncos played against Kansas City came down to a field goal block. Mm-hmm. That's how tough that game was, and it's only because of the fact that the Broncos have a rookie quarterback. If Bo Nix was 3 years into his career in that game, the Broncos probably beat KC handily and hand them their second loss. But he's not. He's a rookie, and we have to remind ourselves of that.
Y'all still got a chance to give them their second loss.
Still do.
Yeah.
But it's a meaningless game to them, and I would have rather have beaten them.
Still in the books. Though.
I would have rather have beaten them and then also beaten the Chargers twice, But, hey, we're at where we're at now. And it is what it is. But, the AFC is a toss-up.
I know.
But I can see – after Philadelphia whooped them boys today, though, Philly looks like they might be in playoff mode now.
They are.
Detroit better watch out. Tampa Bay's playing really, really good right now as well.
Tampa about to back into it.
Don't let that 9-7 record fool you. They can beat a lot of teams in –
I still think Detroit coming out the NFC, man.
I agree.
Detroit is just unbelievable.
I agree, man. But the NFC is kind of like the West in the NBA. Because Detroit 13-2, Philadelphia 13-3,
Washington,
Minnesota 13-2, Green Bay 11-4, Washington 10-5, Rams 10-6, Tampa Bay 9-7. That's all of their top 8.
And only 7 can make it.
Yeah.
And we got the Bucks too is playing.
And the worst team out of that is Tampa Bay at 9-7.
Yeah.
Like
the champion has come out the NFC, like I said prior.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting though,
Yeah, the AFC is just very top heavy. It's Kansas City, Buffalo, and Baltimore are really really good.
Right.
And then you have Pittsburgh. Well, Pittsburgh's pretty good. No, that's what I'm saying. You have really good, and then you have Pittsburgh, the Chargers, Houston. Though they're okay, they're good. Yeah. And then you have the Broncos, where we're on the cusp of being good.
I don't know what happened to Chargers. They woke up. They running the ball and everything. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they've got a good coach. They have their quarterback.
It wasn't like that the beginning of the year.
Don't let them get a couple of good receivers because they have one. They have one, and he's a rookie. But he's really good. That kid is going to be really good with Herbert throwing him the ball. But don't let them get a tight end. Don't let them get another receiver because their defense is already stacked. They already have their quarterback. They really just need a receiver. a tight end, and a running back.
Yeah.
And actually, I think their running backs are fairly good. They're not like terrible. They're serviceable, especially with the quarterback that they have.
They perfect for the scheme that they run.
Exactly. So they don't really necessarily need a running back, but don't let them get a tight end like an Antonio Gates type tight end again. Don't let that happen.
Yeah.
Don't let that happen. Don't let them get a possessional wide receiver that can help back up. What's that kid's name? I should know his name. He's on my damn team.
Be on the Broncos?
No. McConkey.
Oh.
That's their good receiver. That kid scorched the hell out of the Broncos in that win. I keep wanting to call them San Diego because they're San Diego. Anyways,
San Diego.
the Chargers. He was the one that helped the Chargers scorch the Broncos. So that's why I say don't let them get a tight end. Don't let them get
a possession receiver.
Yeah, don't let them get another receiver that can offset McConkey. Because next year, keep in mind, next year everybody's going to have tape on. McConkey's a rookie.
Right.
Now everybody's going to have tape on you. And they're going to start scheming to take you away from the offense. So they're going to need another possession receiver or because he's their over-the-top, you know what I'm saying? He's their speedy receiver. He's their run across the middle. Pretty much their Swiss Army knife. But if they have that guy, that can get the possessions, that can go up in the red zone and get those 50-50 balls, the Chargers are going to be very, very, very hard to beat, especially with that defense that they have. They're ahead of schedule just like the Broncos are. The difference between them and the Broncos is that Herbert is a veteran. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
The Broncos are basically a running back, tight end, and a possession. Well, I think they actually have their receivers. Vele, and as long as they can re-sign Sutton, the Broncos have their receivers because Mims is going to be that perfect slot over-the-top receiver for Bo Nix.
Okay.
But they're basically in that same position as the Chargers. They need two key pieces, which is a running back, which I think they actually found one last night. They just need to hone in on that. But either way, they need a good running back to finish up that running game and a tight end, a pass-catching tight end. Because the guys that they have now are all blocking tight ends. I think that Sean Payton is shying away from that because of that whole experience he had with Graham. Graham wanting wide receiver money even though he was a tight end. But he was the focal point of their offensive passing game, right?
Right.
They don't win that Super Bowl without him, right?
Right.
I think he shies away from those type of tight end players. You know what I mean? Because he doesn't want to have to go through that again.
Yeah.
So that's why he has the tight ends that he has.
That position is kind of essential, like the Novacek.
In this day and age, for sure.
Right.
The Gronkowskis,
right. The Bowers.
Gonzalez,
the Brock Bowers.
I mean, and it all started in that whole, when Shannon Sharp, the thing about Shannon Sharp though and Tony Gonzalez,
and don't forget about Novacek from the Cowboys.
And Novacek. The thing about those guys is they not only were pass catching, but they blocked too. They were excellent blockers.
Man,
Shannon Sharp was one of the key reasons why Terrell Davis was able to do the things that he did and be a 2,000-yard runner and make it to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
Exactly.
He said that.
If he doesn't set the edge and he's not a good blocker, he doesn't go more than four yards ahead every play instead of breaking those touchdown runs. Not all, but a big slice, a high percentage of that had to do with Shannon Sharp being who he was. And then, the fact that Shannon Sharp was able to block at the point of contact, he could also chip a guy, like one of those premier pass rushers, and they think he's going to block them as a run play, and then he breaks off, and that's how he gets those catches for touchdowns.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that to me is what the Broncos kind of need. They need that Shannon Sharp, Jay Novacek, Tony Gonzalez. Now, I know those are Hall of Fame players. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying they need that style of player. They don't need them to be that good We don't need a Hall of Famer, but we need somebody to take the pressure off of, they bracket Sutton. And Sutton's so damn good that he's still getting yards, even though they're trying to take him away from the offense, right? He's still getting the yards and still getting catches and whatnot. I think if he didn't break 1,000 yards last night or yesterday, he's going to in the next game as long as he gets like 20 yards or something like that. I'd have to look it up, but he's pretty damn close to getting 1,000 yards. And I can't think of a season that he was able to get 1,000 yards with any of the other quarterbacks that we've had here. So hopefully they can figure out a way to sign Sutton, keep him, because that's going to be that's going to be Bo Nick's safety blanket. Like, that's going to be that guy. And then they could just go focus on getting them. They're not going to get a Brock Bowers. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you guys lucked out. You got that type of player. He can block and he can catch. Right. He can run screens. You know what I'm saying?
I prefer a quarterback, but
well, now you have to find your quarterback. Yeah. So you guys did it in reverse, but that's all you could do. There was no other quarterbacks that would have been worth taking in the first round. I think even most people that are Raiders fans would have said if the Broncos would have taken Brock Bowers, they would have taken Bo Nix. And then you guys might be in the position that the Broncos are in right now, possibly making to the playoffs, right?
But we wanted Bo.
The way it happened is the way it happened. Now the Broncos just need to find that guy, that tight end that can not only block but also go out and pass catch, be a relief valve, so to speak.
That's what the whole draft combine and everything is for. They'll find
Well, I mean, that's how Kansas City wins every year, man. Is they have the best quarterback and they have the best tight end, and then they have like top tier wide receiver. They don't have the best they do now with DeAndre Hopkins. They have one of the best. He's probably in the top 15 at minimum.
Right.
He's somewhere in that top 15 of wide receivers in the league. But before that, though, how they've been winning, they had Tyreek Hill at one point in time. They had upper echelon one wide receiver, but that tight end to quarterback connection has been the reason why they've won Super Bowls. And that's why they've paid both of those players and let everybody else walk. Like, stop me when I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they've allowed everybody else to walk. Tyreek Hill, deuces. Every running back. They've even got running backs back. But every running back that they've had over the course of the years, they've just been a revolving door with their running backs.
But
right?
The mainstays was
Pacheco's been good. But eventually he's going to want his bag, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to let him walk. And then they're just going to plug another guy right in there and keep chugging along. As long as Mahomes and their tight end,
was it Kelsey?
Kelsey.
Yeah.
As long as Mahomes and Kelsey are doing what they're doing, but Kelsey, this could be his last year. I could see that. He may, especially if they win a Super Bowl. Yeah. I could see him retiring. I could him, not Mahomes, but I could see him retiring.
I could see him getting into the music industry.
Well, why? Because of his girlfriend? Come on, man. Thought she was better than that. Come on, man.
He's gonna be an honorary Swiftie.
Well, he's already a Swiftie.
No, he is the Swiftie.
Yeah, like he's not honorary or anything. He's a Swiftie. He takes his mom to concerts all the time.
Mr. Swiftie.
Because his mom's a diehard Swiftie. Yeah. So, all right, we got probably about 40 seconds left, my dude. Let me see if I can stump you on one. Let me see if I can stump you on one.
All right, go knock yourself out.
All right, I think I can get you on this guy.
Probably. It's not my day today.
All right, real quick. All right, so this guy played power forward / center. He was drafted in the first round late and played for 14 years in the league and a 2-time block champion. Who am I? Make sure this man can't see. He be cheating. I see him side-eyeing. He ain't fooling nobody.
Good question. Dikembe Mutombo. I know that's wrong.
Nah, it's wrong, but good guess. All right. I think we're out of time, but I'm gonna one more. He is a 3-time All-Defensive and a 2019 NBA champion. Who am I? 10 seconds.
Oh, hold on.
4, 3.
Kawhi Leonard. I don't know.
No,
I know he was
Serge
on that team.
Ibaka.
Yeah.
Serge Ibaka. All right. So that's going to do it
That
for
don't
us
count.
this week.
That
That
don't-
does count. That
that don't
counts.
count.
That counts.
That don't count.
It counts. You made 2 guesses, bro.
No, I'm supposed to get 2 more.
You're supposed to get 1 more.
Exactly. That don't count.
That's going to do it for us today.
That's a hub.
On behalf of everybody that helps with this show, man, we appreciate y'all watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube and follow us on all your social media platforms. And don't forget to come by Sohai Cafe at 4300 West Alameda. Get you some Viper Pit Barbecue. Follow him on IG, Sohai Cafe. We will catch y'all next week. Deuces.
That count.
That counts.
That count.
Woohoo.